the debt-free ecclesiastical kingdom of Debtor, theocratic government, diplomatically presence. Universal human rights, 30 articles, for international sovereignty, political free will. Versus. Debtor tax-paying citizenship rights, Jesuit customs and usury traditions, for modern-day debt slavery. Here is divine Ethiopian wisdom for humanity. Human rights are 30 articles that was gifted to humanity by our elect of God the Father Majesty, UN lawgiver of the 20th century, who exercised his sovereign ecclesiastical power and divine authority upon the imperial throne of David in the East, Ethiopia, to charter a new debt-free diplomatic humanitarian course for all human beings. However, human rights are universal, interrelated, interconnected, interdependent and inherent upon all, as they were gifted to humanity to democratically establish global unification under international law, and as an international political countermeasure against global financial fraud. This is one major reason why universal human rights entails international political responsibility, as certain international human rights can only be secured and protected by the individuals who exercise political conscience, knowing right from wrong and choosing human right, with international sovereignty, political free will. The other major reason is that it equally applies to all human beings, so as one individual find a peaceful diplomatic alternative to global financial apostasy, then all human beings will have a diplomatic first fruit to lead them, 7 billion people, up from unlawful constitutional, mind and body, debt slavery, with political ease. On the other note, debtor tax-paying citizenship rights are basically discretionary, as no one mutually consented to any inferior political position, under a corrupt Jesuit matrix based off inequality, financial exploitation, and greed. Every Jesuit-created bankrupt constitution around the globe today, offer every individual the international right, diplomatic privilege, to exercise political dissent diplomatically, as they all must offer everyone the constitutional right to renounce corporate allegiance, debtor tax-paying victimship, voluntarily. Yet, since state agents, Jesuit-taught politicians, are not responsible for teaching individuals how to politically emancipate from global financial tyranny, then we the people must politically unite for real international political change, choosing humanity a new global economy, within our wonderful modern world of social democracy, political choices. For there are no universal human rights, 30 articles, for any individual to renounce their international rights, diplomatic privileges, as a legitimate deed, work. And the only way to lose them is by implied consent or mutual agreement, consent by silence, under an unlawful Jesuit-created matrix, IMF globalization policies, which violate the universal human rights of every individual equally alike, as it classify priceless human beings and commercially register, voluntarily surrender, them as corporate tax-paying victims, debtor citizen serfs, unwittingly for life. Keep in mind, that the Jesuit wages commercial sin, transgressing UDHR law of equality, pays, is a lifetime in unlawful constitutional, mind and body, debt bondage. Whereas, the true divine gift that our elect of God the Father Majesty, UN lawgiver of the 20th century, gives, is a new debt-free humanitarian lifestyle, after being victimized by civil death in global commerce. Therefore, these 30 articles of the UDHR Charter, are our elect of God gifted international rights, diplomatic privileges, which are secured and protected under international law. Whereas, Jesuit-created government constitutions are only commercial policies for voluntary corporate tax-paying subjects to follow, as they are legally justified under Admiralty/maritime business law, without mutual consent from the governed people. Because of this perfect international human rights law of fundamental equality for all, the Emperor of Ethiopia was maliciously accused of international embezzlement and nepotism, by his own people who were Jesuit-taught, indoctrinated. However, for the international record, no one has lawfully vindicated the Emperor of Ethiopia, Private Lion of Judah banker, for international embezzlement. And only I, as his Solomonic heir apparent today. who've been ecclesiastically adopted by the Virgin Mariam faith, expectation of prophet to come, can lawfully vindicate his imperial majesty from accusations of nepotism, favoritism towards biological family members, in global trade, commerce. For this is the human rights covenant, sacred agreement, with our elect of God-given international human rights, diplomatic privileges, to live with a self-interpretation to discern between debtor-taxpayer victim status and private humanitarian personality status in global commerce. Preamble. Whereas recognition of the inherent dignity, priceless value, and of the equal and inalienable international rights, diplomatic privileges, of all members of the human family, is the foundation of freedom, justice, and peace in the modern world of social democracy, political choices. Whereas disregard and contempt for human rights, 30 articles, have resulted in barbarous acts which have outraged the conscience of mankind. And the advent of a modern world of social democracy, in which human beings shall enjoy freedom of speech and belief, and freedom from Jesuit financial fear, false expectations appearing real, and want, food, clothing, shelter, has been proclaimed as the highest aspiration of the common people, whereas it is essential, if man is not to be compelled to have recourse, as a last resort, to rebellion against Jesuit political tyranny and financial oppression, that human rights should be protected by the rule of international law, whereas it is essential to promote the self-development of friendly relations between nation-states. Government serves corporations, whereas the peoples of the United Nations have in the Charter reaffirmed their faith, expectation of profit to come, in fundamental human right, in the inherent dignity, priceless value and worth of the human person, international personality status, and in the equal international rights of men and women, and have determined to promote social progress and better standards of diplomatic life, living in full equality, in larger freedom, whereas 193 member states have pledged themselves to achieve, in cooperation with the United Nations, legal fiction, the promotion of universal respect for and observance of human rights and fundamental freedoms, whereas a common understanding of these international rights, diplomatic privileges, and fundamental commercial freedoms is of the greatest importance for the full realization of this pledge. Now, therefore, the General Assembly proclaims this Universal Declaration of Human Rights as a common standard of achievement for all peoples and all nation-states, government service corporations, to the end that every individual and every organ, legal fiction, of society, keeping this declaration constantly in mind, shall strive by teaching and education to promote respect for these international rights and fundamental commercial freedoms, and by progressive measures, national and international, to secure their universal and effective recognition and observance, both among the peoples of member states themselves and among the peoples of territories, micronation, under their jurisdiction. Article 1. All human beings are born debt-free and politically equal in inherent dignity, priceless value, and international rights, diplomatic privileges. They are endowed with reason, building towards brighter diplomatic future, and conscience, knowing human right from Jesuit wrong and choosing human right, and should politically act towards one another in a spirit, intelligence of brotherhood, collective security, all for one and one for all. Article 2. Everyone is entitled to all the international rights, diplomatic privileges, and fundamental commercial freedoms set forth in this declaration, without distinction of any kind, such as race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth, or other status. Furthermore, no distinction shall be made on the basis of the political, jurisdictional, or international status of the country or territory, micronation, to which a person, international personality status, belong, whether it be independent, trust, non-self-governing or under any other limitation of sovereignty, political free will. Article 3. Everyone has the international right to a debt-free diplomatic life, living in full equality, financial liberty, and diplomatic security of person, international personality status. Article 4. No one human being shall be held in financial slavery or tax-paying chattel servitude. Slavery and the slave trade shall be prohibited in all their forms, IMF globalization policies included. Article 5. No one shall be subjected to torture or to cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment, political negligence. Article 6. Everyone has the international right to recognition everywhere as a person, international personality status before the law. Article 7. All are equal before the law and are entitled without any Jesuit discrimination to equal protection of the law. All are entitled to equal diplomatic protection against any Jesuit discrimination in violation of this declaration and against any incitement to such Jesuit discrimination. Article 8. Everyone has the international right to an effective diplomatic remedy by the competent national tribunals for political acts violating the fundamental rights granted him by the Constitution or by UDHR law. Article 9. No one shall be subjected to arbitrary arrest, stop, detention, held, or exile, banishment. Article 10. Everyone is entitled in full equality to a fair and public hearing by an independent and impartial tribunal, in the political self-determination of his international rights, diplomatic privileges, and moral political obligations, and of any criminal charge against him. Article 11. 1. Everyone charged with a penal offense has the international right, diplomatic privilege, to be presumed innocent until proved guilty according to law in a public trial at which he has had all the guarantees necessary for his defense. 2. No one shall be held guilty of any penal offense on account of any political act or omission which did not constitute a penal offense, under national or international law, at the time when it was committed, nor shall a heavier penalty be imposed than the one that was applicable at the time the penal offense was committed. Article 12. No one shall be subjected to arbitrary interference with his international privacy, family, home, or correspondence, nor to political attacks upon his honor and reputation, hereditary Christian title. Everyone has the international right, diplomatic privilege, to the diplomatic protection of the UDHR law against such interference or political attacks. Article 13. 1. Everyone has the international right to freedom of movement and residence within the Jesuit-created borders of each nation-state government service corporation. 2. Everyone has the international right to leave any country, including his own kingdom of debtor, and to diplomatically return to his country. Article 14. 1. Everyone has the international right to seek and to enjoy in other countries international political asylum from Jesuit-taught persecution. 2. This international right may not be invoked in the case of prosecutions genuinely arising from non-political crimes, or from political acts contrary to the unity purposes and equality principles of the United Nations. Article 15. 1. Everyone has the international right to a nationality. 2. No one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his nationality nor denied the international right, diplomatic privilege, to change his nationality. Article 16. 1. Men and women of full age, without any limitation due to race, nationality or religion, have the international right to marry, corporate merger, and to found a family, foundation. They are entitled to equal international rights as to marriage, during marriage, and at its dissolution. 2. Marriage shall be entered into only with the free and full consent of the intending spouses. 3. The family is the natural and fundamental group unit of society and is entitled to diplomatic protection by society and the state, as procreation cannot manifest any other way. Article 17. 1. Everyone has the international right to own intellectual property, alone as well as in association with others. Global population. 2. No one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his intellectual property. Article 18. Everyone has the international right to freedom of thought, conscience, knowing right from wrong and choosing human right, and religion, way of life. This international right, diplomatic privilege, includes freedom to diplomatically change his corporate religion or tax-paying belief, so it said, and freedom, either alone or in autonomous community with others and in public or private, to manifest his humanitarian religion, way of life, or equality belief in human rights teaching, political practice, worship, and constant observance. Article 19. Everyone has the international right to freedom of opinion and expression. This international right, diplomatic privilege, includes freedom to hold opinions without Jesuit interference, and to seek, receive, and impart human rights, information and ideas through any media and regardless of frontiers. Article 20. 1. Everyone has the international right to freedom of peaceful assembly and association, form own unity. 2. No one may be compelled to belong to an association, bankrupt Jesuit legal fiction. Article 21. 1. Everyone has the international right to take part in the government of his country, directly or through freely chosen representatives, universal human rights ambassadors. 2. Everyone has the international right, diplomatic privilege, of equal access to public service central bank in his country. 3. The will of the people shall be the basis of all authorization of government entities. This will shall be expressed in periodic and genuine elections which shall be by universal and equal suffrage, and shall be held by secret vote or by equivalent free voting procedures, just as the secret selection of the vicar at the papacy. Of the Article 20, everyone, as a member of our human society, has the international right, diplomatic privilege, to social security, and is entitled to political self-realization, through national effort and international cooperation and in accordance with the organization and resources of each nation-state, government service corporations. Of the economic, social, and cultural rights indispensable for his inherent dignity, priceless value, and the debt-free development of his international legal personality. Article 23. 1. Everyone has the international right to work, to free choice of employment, to just and favorable conditions of work and to diplomatic protection against unemployment. 2. Everyone, without any Jesuit discrimination, has the international right, diplomatic privilege, to equal pay for equal work. 3. Everyone who works has the international right to just and favorable remuneration, reward, ensuring for himself and his family, an existence worthy of inherent human dignity, priceless value, and supplemented, if necessary, by other means of social protection. 4. Everyone has the international right, diplomatic privilege, to form and to join international trade unions for the diplomatic protection of his interests, entitlement to property. Article 24. Everyone has the international right to rest and leisure, including reasonable limitation of working hours and periodic holidays with pay. Article 25. 1. Everyone has the international right, diplomatic privilege, to a standard of living adequate for the health and well-being of himself and of his family, including food, clothing, housing, and medical care and necessary social services, and the international right to diplomatic security in the event of unemployment, sickness, disability, widowhood, old age, or other lack of livelihood in circumstances beyond his control. 2. Motherhood and childhood are entitled to special care and assistance. All children, whether born in or out of wedlock, shall enjoy the same social protection. Article 26. 1. Everyone has the international right to education. Education shall be debt-free, at least in the elementary and fundamental stages. Elementary education shall be compulsory. Technical and professional education shall be made generally available, and higher education shall be equally accessible to all on the basis of merit. 2. Education shall be directed to the full development of the human personality, individual status, and to the strengthening of respect for universal human rights and fundamental commercial freedoms. It shall promote understanding, tolerance, and friendship among all nation-states, racial or religious groups, and shall further the activities of the United Nations for the maintenance of international peace. 3. Parents have a prior international right, diplomatic privilege, to choose the kind of education that shall be given to their children. Article 27. 1. Everyone has the international right freely to participate in the cultural life of the community, to enjoy the arts and to share in scientific advancement and its benefits. 2. Everyone has the international right to the diplomatic protection of the moral and material interests, entitlement to property, resulting from any scientific, literary, or artistic production of which he is the author. Article 28. Everyone is entitled to a social and international, diplomatic order in which the international rights and fundamental commercial freedoms set forth in this declaration can be fully realized. Article 29. 1. Everyone has moral duties to the community in which alone the debt-free and full development of his international personality status, private diplomat, is possible. 2. In the exercise of his international rights, diplomatic privileges, and fundamental commercial freedoms, everyone shall be subject only to such limitations as are determined by law solely for the purpose of securing due recognition and respect for the international rights and fundamental commercial freedoms of others and of meeting the just requirements of international morality, goodness, public order, and the general welfare in a democratic society. 3. These international rights, diplomatic privileges, and fundamental commercial freedoms may in no case be exercised contrary to the unity purposes and equality principles of the United Nations. Article 30. Nothing in this declaration may be interpreted as implying for any bankrupt nation, state, legal fiction, group, Jesuit money changers, or person, Jesuit pope, any international right to engage in any political activity or to perform any diplomatic act aimed at the destruction of any of the international rights and fundamental commercial freedoms set forth herein. In conclusion, with a divine Ethiopian birth name, hereditary Christian title, to diplomatically secure under international law, we do not only claim to be the most prodigal son of the Emperor of Ethiopia's UDHR, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Charter for All, but also his Solomonic heir apparent, under Article 6 of the Constitution, mind and body, of the Empire of Ethiopia, divine providence. So we can ecclesiastically challenge and depose the vicar, man of sin, once and for all. Moa and Bassa, conquering lion, Christos prevails. It is the sacred, holy, debt-free duty of the United Nations organization to diplomatically ensure that the dream of fundamental equality in international law is finally realized for all human beings to whom it is still politically denied, to guarantee that Jesuit supremacy exploitation is not reincarnated in other commercial forms, in places whence it has already been partially banished. P.S. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights Charter is the only international political document on earth, 193 member nation states, which secure and protect every human being in worth, divinity. For Article 21.3, the will of the people shall be the basis of all authorization of government entities, grant international judicial authority to the voice of the meek, politically powerless, so that together, they can diplomatically confer international political legitimacy upon a coming Solomonic Christian king, ecclesiastical private diplomat, in collective security, all for one Christos and one Christos for all. Selah. It has been a long time coming, but better believe universal human rights change, choosing humanity a new global economy, has come. Yes it has, Koyat.
Why? That's Mattis. Where them a treat poor people.
Oh yeah,
Where is the human rights? Hey, hey, hey. Where is the human rights? I say. Where is the human rights? Hey, hey, hey. Where is the human rights? I say. Where is the human rights? Hey, hey, hey. Where is the human rights? I say. Where is the human rights? Hey, hey, hey. Where is the human rights? I say.
We're one, we spread our rights. We were all born free and equal in dignity and right, and one unity, no slavery, no torture, equal recognition everywhere before the law, no discrimination, the rights to life, to a higher standard, yes. Human rights are protected by the law, no unfair detainment. Yes, we have the rights to trial, innocent until proven guilty. We don't want them prison the youths innocently. No one can take away your rights. Everyone must have equality. Freedom from your conscience, knowing wrong from right, choosing the right. Oh yes.
Where is the human rights? Hey, hey, hey. Where is the human rights? I say. Where is the human rights? Where is the human rights? I say.
Rights to international security, workers' rights, rights to rest and leisure, freedom of religion is a way of life. Rights to a marriage and a family, international rights to property, rights to seek asylum in society, the rights to privacy, rights to a public assembly.
Where is the human rights? Where is the human rights? I say. Where is the human rights? Where is the human rights? I say.
We're one, respect our rights. We're all born free and equal in dignity and pride, and one unity, no slavery, no torture, equal recognition everywhere before the law, no discrimination, the rights to life to a higher standard, yes. Human rights are protected by the law, no unfair detainment. Yes, we have the rights to triumph. Innocent until proven guilty, no one can take away your right.
I owe them Babylon. Let's make them know, man. I Selassie is the earth rightful ruler. Mighty. To Selassie I belong the earth.